Hey everyone, I'm Yvonne Villarreal, reporter here at the LA Times. And joining me today and already having me laughing is Mr. Max Greenfield from New Girl. Thanks for joining us.
Well, I'm excited to be here.
You're really excited because of these mugs, as we discussed earlier.
I don't know that I'm allowed to talk about the mugs.
Yeah, we told them not to talk about it.
But
tell us.
I am very excited about these mugs. Although we did discover a problem with the mug, that when you raise it, you get the small font of LA Times here instead of...
We're new at this mug game.
Instead of kind of the logo. But what are you going to do? For a lefty, maybe they were made for lefties. Let's drink left-handed today.
Okay. Cheers.
Okay.
All right. Mine has the kiss mark. Oops. Okay. This is like a real talk show now. We're drinking from mugs.
I feel good about it. Maybe that's what it could be called, the LA Times, drinking from mugs.
Well, maybe like this will get me like Craig Ferguson's job or something. Maybe.
I don't know. That's up for grabs.
Let's see. Well, the last season of New Girl, season 3, we really saw some humanity behind Schmidt in ways that we've never had before. It's peeked through here and there, but season 3, you really feel for Schmidt.
I hope so.
I forgot to give you the present. Well, it's not a present. It's to keep you on guard.
What did I get?
If you say anything douchey today.
Oh, good. Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
There's a little water.
There's a little water in there. Okay. I was going to say, are we drinking from it today?
We can drink from it too, whatever.
No, good.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
just to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, it'll keep me in check.
Yeah. Okay. So season 3, humanity, Schmidts.
Yeah, I think I think we needed to find some of that by the end of the season because he started off the season in a very there's a lot of words that come to mind. But yeah, you know, we tried to play this thing where it was very difficult because we came off the last season. He ran away from these two girls who were kind of making him choose. Which, by the way, in his defense, shame on both of them.
What do you mean?
Well,
Come on, that's such a guy response.
But
okay.
I believe that you should be like, okay, why would you put so much pressure on this poor guy? This seems like, you know. Okay,
you're not making your case for me.
Maybe I'm making myself up. But then we got into season 3, and the writers had put him in a situation where they felt like he is, and this is the wrong way to go, obviously, but he was so in love with both of them that he didn't want to hurt either one. And every time he went to try and be honest or break up with them, or one of them, or he just couldn't bring himself to do it. And obviously it played out. And then, you know, it played out in an ugly way. And then directly after that, as a result, he then decided to blame Nick and Jess and try and break them up. So, you know, I think this was kind of his real rock bottom, if you will. So I think he had some growth, and towards the end of the season, I think is coming towards you know, a more positive place in his life.
Well, and he made a very grown-up decision by deciding, okay, I'm going to let Cece be happy. But do you think heading into season 4, that's going to stick? Or is he going to try? I mean...
He's been trying for so long now. I feel like, and obviously I have no control over any of this, but I would like to see him really be okay with being with himself for a while. That would be the route that I would take.
Can we talk about Miss Merritt Weaver, who guest starred as Elizabeth?
The best.
Oh my God, so good.
We had so much fun. She came in and she did, I want to say 3 or 4 episodes in the back half of season 2, and
then she came back.
We just had such a good time, and then she came back. We had a great episode together.
Is it fun to explore that side of Schmidt, to see him that way?
Well, we just were, I think, you know, on a show that's day in and day out that goes on for several years, the guest stars are so much fun. And, you know, I remember when I had guest starred on a lot of shows before that, so when someone comes in, there's always like a little bit of nerves, and especially when you know you're going to be doing several episodes with somebody. It's really exciting for the people who are regulars on the show, because you get them in and you get to really like explore and play with them. And Merritt was one of my favorites, if not
She's
my
so
absolute
funny.
favorite. She's so funny. She's such a phenomenal actress, and we were so lucky to have her.
Mm-hmm.
And then she won the Emmy like that next year, and it was one of those where I remember I was like sitting on the couch and we were watching, and they announced everybody, and you're like, oh, it's okay, it's Merit. And then she wins, and you have one of those, like a real guttural, like, yes, yes. It feels
and
so good.
Her speech was so perfect. Yeah, I gotta go to therapy.
It was very, that was very true to Merit. It was great. You're like, that was about the most honest speech I've seen.
Mm-hmm. Well, also in the finale, we see that Nick and Schmidt are gonna have to bunk up together. Is that weird for you? Is that going to be fun?
It's exciting.
Because Schmidt's a little obsessed with Nick. Like, that's his, like, BFF.
Well, you know, I think now that he's free and clear of Jess, I think the two of them are just two single hunks living in Los Angeles, shacking up in a room together, getting ready to tackle life.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, and Schmidt was like very against Nick and Jess in the beginning, and that storyline sort of got viewers a little revved up too. They didn't know if this was the right way to go, and we ultimately saw how it fizzled out. What did you think of how things played out, and of the way people responded to it?
I have heard how people responded to it. I was, you're
in the bubble.
Yeah, we work on this set, and like I have so little clue as to what people's response is to what's happening on the show. Yeah, there was a lot. There was like the breakup, and then the Schmidt breakup with the two ladies, and then him aggressively attacking Nick and Jess relationship. And from what I've heard, there was an aggressive response to it, and I think they really pulled back on all that stuff, and really, I think, tried very hard to get him back to a place where he was genuinely kind of giving to the group as opposed to attacking it.
Well, did you like how you were sort of set on your own in your own apartment, or were you worried what that would mean for Schmidt?
I was excited. I thought it was really fun. I don't know. I would hope that, if that's available to us, being able to have a separate apartment and still remain on the show, I would hope that at some point, this is a group of human beings in their 30s, somebody would move out and separate themselves from the roommates, although it seems as though we're going in the opposite direction.
It's like
Damon come in, and we're just going to like really take everybody.
It's alarming, but it's fun.
It's alarming.
I might apply next year. But talk about Coach coming back, Damon Wayans Jr.
We were so excited. We were so excited because we had so much fun with him on the pilot, and then it's not like these people disappear,
right?
And we would see him here and there, and I worked on Happy Endings a little bit with him, and then Jake, has a great relationship with him, having done Let's Be Cops, and they spent the whole summer together. So when that opportunity arose, we all were all for it, and we're really excited to get him in there.
Because you can play off someone new. It's different, right?
Yeah, and it's just, at that point, having somebody new come in who we all know and who we all love and who genuinely makes us laugh so much is so great. It's the same thing as having like great guest stars like Merit. I can remember when Rob Riggle did the show. The fact that I got paid that week for work was ridiculous because all I did was laugh. I ruined every take.
You've had a lot of great guest stars.
We've had incredible
Rob
guest stars.
Reiner,
So
Jamie
great.
Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
The late Dennis Farina. Is there someone else you'd like to see stroll by, and in what capacity?
We get asked this a lot. I feel like it changes on a daily basis. So many people.
You're not gonna give me an answer.
I'm a huge...
Do you want the LA Times mug on there?
Yes, I would like.
It will make a cameo.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to steal one, if not two of these, before I leave here. Let's get that out of the way. So when you see it, I mean, if
we won't be caught by
call
surprise.
somebody, I'll run. I'll probably outrun them.
Then you park on the street, right? This baffled all of us, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I know you don't know where my car is. I know where my car is. There's no like garage I have to like escape from. Nice. I will beat you.
Okay.
Okay. But you know, I love the women of Hot in Cleveland. I would.
Yes, you were recently on there.
Come and return the favor and come over on our show.
Were you just like in Betty White's trailer all day, like just asking her tons of questions, or who were you like?
Well, my storyline was more with Wendy and Jane and Valerie.
But when
so we
Betty's
hung out quite a bit. Mm-hmm. When Betty's there, it's great. But I was very excited. John Mahoney was guesting that week, and that was the one that I really attacked. Were
you taking selfies?
Yeah, I have one.
You do?
I actually do have one. But that was the one where I was like, so let's let's talk about Frasier, and let's break it down season by season, and you know how the show changed and how your character changed, and just let's really break it down, and like what your relationship was to David Hyde Pierce and Kelsey, and how you played in the middle a little bit, and
nice, not creepy at all.
We really broke it down. I was so excited.
So you were
Frasier, I think it might be Frasier and Raymond are high up there.
You might be my dad's BFF now. But like, were you one of those people that would like sit in and like turn on the TV? Because back then people would have appointment viewing. Were you like in front of the TV watching Frasier?
I don't remember it as like appointment television, but I do remember Frasier being a show that I just loved.
The dog.
It was one of those from top to bottom that you were like, every character on this works on such a high level. They can do whatever they want. Such a great show.
Interesting. Anyone else? I mean, who did you look up to growing up, comedy-wise? I mean, Lucy was my girl.
So many people. Comedically growing up, everyone on SNL. I guess that was probably my biggest influences growing up.
Well, I heard you had like a bat mitzvah, like with the bar mitzvah themed SNL theme.
It was a Saturday Night Live themed bar mitzvah, and
like what does that even entail?
Well, look, there's table settings that are the headshots of the castmates at the time. It was right around the time of like Spade and Young Sandler, Chris Rock, Farley, Kevin Nealon, Phil Hartman.
Nice.
Those guys really, and then because I discovered those guys when I was young and watching Saturday Night Live, and then that forced me to then go, I love this show so much, let me look into the history of it, and then kind of you go back and you discover Belushi and Aykroyd and that whole group.
Hole. You're just going all over.
Yeah, totally. So I think growing up, that was the group.
And did you always know you wanted to do this? I mean, I initially thought I was obsessed with being a Target cashier, but I don't know if you had different ambitions.
Why a Target cashier?
I was obsessed with like the thing, and like someone told me it's because I wanted to be near the money.
Why so specifically Target though? Because a lot of people.
Because my mom was always at Target. And there was a lot of red.
Well, how old were you at this point?
I was like 3 or 4. Okay. I was obsessed with it. Really? She bought me one, like a fake cashier.
Target?
Yeah, not at Target, but she told me it was at Target.
She bought you a fake cash register?
Mm-hmm.
And then did you learn to use it?
And I was always like...
Are you good with money now?
Oh, I'm awful with money.
Well, what was the point?
I didn't stick with it.
I bought my daughter has a cash register.
Oh, see? I'm not alone.
Does not use it. It is not a toy that she enjoys.
But did you think...
She thought it was a phone for a long time.
She's just like, it's an 80s phone. Did you have something weird like that you were...
A weird toy when I was young?
Or like a weird career goal?
No, I think in the back of my head I kind of always wanted to do this, I think. there was a long period where you like, what? It's so odd, you think of it as when you're young. And I remember looking at these guys on SNL, and you'd be like, well, those are superheroes.
Nice, yeah.
And you don't that's not a possibility for me. And then when I moved out to LA, it's not because I grew up in New York, just outside the city. And then you move out to LA, and you go, oh, this is a real business.
Right.
And it's at least feasible.
Right.
And that's when I started getting into it. But I grinded for so long and just did guest stars here and there, and oftentimes thought well, I should probably not be doing this. So that when things hit with New Girl, and the response was so overwhelming,
I know, what's that range like?
Well, what happens is you then meet these guys who you grew up loving, and they're like, oh yeah, you're really funny on that show, and you, oh my God,
like,
sir, thank you.
Let me call Mom.
I don't know what to say. And you have such an aggressive response to it, you don't really know what to do, and it's hard to carry on a normal conversation with some of these people, because in the back of your head you're going, it seems like, and I don't believe this, but it does seem like we're talking in a sense that would lead anyone else to believe that we are equals.
This is pretty cool.
And a lot, I'll be in a conversation with people of that ilk, and at some point I'll be like, oh, hey man, I go to the bathroom real quick. And usually it's because, and I never have to go to the bathroom, but usually it's because the conversation was going really well, and I just want to get out of it while it's going, it's good.
Yeah. I want to know who's been one of those people.
I think Ed Helms was one of them very early on. I ran into him at a party, and he was like, oh man, it's so nice to meet you. You're so great on that show. All this stuff. I was like, yeah. And I can specifically remember when Andy Bernard came onto The Office and had anger issues, and remember being like, man, this is just
and the banjo. You can't forget the banjo.
I feel like the banjo came in later.
It came in later, but it was very memorable.
But when he first came on that show, I thought, can? Yeah, it was so good.
Well, now you're that guy. Now you're that guy.
I don't know. I don't feel like that guy.
You don't feel it yet?
No, I don't.
Do you remember your first thought when you saw yourself on national TV? And was that the Undressed episode, or was that something before that?
I think it was probably Undressed.
Can we discuss that, please?
Yeah.
Because that was a show that I was like, I felt like I had to go like this because my parents can't know I'm watching that.
But that was a show also that ended up. It was one of those shows where you at some point you put it on your resume, and then at some point you said to yourself, I wonder if this is kind of embarrassing on my resume.
Yeah.
And then much later it became
the cool thing.
Very cool on your resume.
Yes. That's so funny.
Because it had a bunch of young actors who had never worked before who ended up doing well.
And what was it like being on a set like that?
It was great. I tell you, it was really good. And the people at MTV and the people who ran that show were really great and fully understanding of, we have a lot of young actors on this show that probably don't know what they're doing technically. And there wasn't, look, you get a job on one of these procedurals as a guest star, and you show up, and if that's your first job, you're in trouble.
Right.
Because those guys move quickly, and and you have no time to be like, all right, so this line right here is your mark, and all this other stuff, and you want to look to this part of the camera like this and that. So that would be terrifying. And I've been in that situation before where you're learning new things on the fly, and you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, don't start sweating. But Undressed was great for those reasons, where you learned everything on how to hit a mark. You learned how to all this technical stuff, which was great. Because you're shooting 3 full episodes in 3 hours.
That's crazy. Did it get you prepared to having your shirt constantly off on New Girl?
No.
No?
No.
How did that become a thing? Is it just like
it was in the pilot.
Yeah.
It was written specifically into the pilot, so you figured this was going to be an ongoing joke,
thing.
And it was funny. I did it in the audition. It was something. It was written in to the audition, so I did it in the audition. It got a big laugh, and then
it got a big laugh. Does that hurt your ego, or you get it?
No, I knew where I was at the time. But what was funny was I was not in very great shape, but I felt like I played it like I was in very good shape. And I think it kind of shocked people. And I think Liz got very excited. She was like, his moles are very funny.
His moles are very funny.
He's so white. This is, and I think like the reader I was reading with, he broke at one point. And that's when I knew I was giving a good audition.
Who's the one that breaks the most on set?
It's definitely Lamorne, but I will say I feel like I've turned into a close second. I didn't used to, and this last season I just started, and I can't. It's hard for me to stop.
Is it usually with your stuff?
No. Hardly ever with my stuff.
Which is the things they have Schmidt do, and like the things that we learn about Schmidt get wackier and wackier and just more hilarious each season. Like, does it even surprise you anymore what they come up with? And what's been like the funniest thing to you?
Only once was I in a scenario where I thought, we've taken this too far, guys. I don't know what we're doing anymore.
What was that?
There was a scene where there were kittens and they were like attacking my nipples.
That seems totally
But
fine.
they had set the situation. But when you read it at the table when we read the script, it was that, but not set in like a barn on several barrels of hay.
Okay.
And I thought, and I remember showing up to set, and they had set up this thing, and I remember like days before going, hey, what's this like Western set? And they go, oh, that's for you and the cat. And I thought, is that right? And then I showed up to do it, and I looked at the wardrobe, and there was a hat and like a bandana, and I thought to myself, I'm confused. I don't know what's happening anymore. And that was the only regret. Other than that, I think everything's been really great. Like, I get excited about certain things. I like I like the pop culture stuff.
Yeah.
I got a real kick out of Nick and Coach working out in the other room, and Coach putting on like a workout track, and the two of them being like, "Come on, man, let's do this," and him being begrudgingly like pissed about it, and me in my other apartment hearing the music being like, oh, this is a great jam. Can we please, I'd be working out so hard right now if I was just in there with you guys, but I'm not gonna do that.
Speaking of working out, can we talk about Fat Schmidt and the popularity that this man has?
Sure.
I mean, do you think he's more popular than Skinny Schmidt, and what do you think?
Well, I felt like was interesting. God, I'm mixing up my seasons now. But I feel like first season was all about the shirt off.
Yeah.
And the second season was all about Fat Schmidt. And it was like replace working out every day and getting ready to like disrobe at any minute to get ready to sit in makeup for a long time. And I'm glad they keep bringing him back, that it wasn't like a one-off thing. Yeah, it was
People get so excited.
I guess so.
Yeah.
It's fun to do. I love the guy who does my makeup. This guy Matthew Mungo, and his guys. They're great. You know, because you sit there for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you're kind of like, oh, man, I hope we can have a conversation. And we just talk and like hang out, and so it's fun. It's exciting when he comes in. You're like, oh, great, Matthew's coming in.
And do you like doing the flashback scenes to learn a little bit more?
Yeah, they're fun. The makeup gets a little
tedious.
It just, you can do it for about half a day, and then after that, you think to yourself, it's hard to play a scene when you're like, this stuff all over me.
Is it? Can you scratch, or you're like forbidden to
you're
scratch?
Like you're like
tapping.
You're in there.
You're in there.
But it is fun. It's a whole new character, which is fun to play.
Well, 3 seasons in, is there like a trick now for you becoming Schmidt? Like, what is like?
I just show up to work.
You just show up.
Yeah.
Do you feel like people expect you to be like him out in the real world? And how close to him are you?
Well, I don't know. I think there are certain scenarios that are really close, and then there are other scenarios where you're like, this is I don't know what's happening anymore. I don't know who this guy is. This feels like a miss.
This feels like a miss. I came on the set during the first season, and we were all huddled in Nick's trailer, Jake Johnson's trailer, and you guys were listening to Bob Dylan. And
that's not a regular occurrence.
I was gonna ask, is this still going on?
No, it's Jake Johnson's phone. He was trying to be cool. That was him being like season 1 going, yeah, it's crazy to go from independent film to this network television.
Right. Well, and you were like obsessively talking about Glee.
Yeah.
Is that still happening?
Well, that's a different show now too.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
When they left high school, I haven't seen the show in a while, but they left high school and it was a different show, and then I was like, all right, well,
bye.
Kinda.
And what about the relationship between you and Liz and the writers? How has it changed or evolved 3 seasons in? Like, are you like constantly texting, I have an idea?
Oh, God, no.
No.
No. There's been several occasions where maybe I've been like, hey, what if we did this? And that will always be the one thing that never
happens.
Ever.
Liz.
So, but they're all terrible ideas. My new one now is that Schmidt and Winston open up season 4. They come into the loft, and everyone else is like gathered around the TV, and they're like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" And we go, "Guys, we have big news. Winston and I have joined the Kiss Army." And then it goes into the New Girl song, and then, but that's a season-long arc that I'd be pitching. That's not an episode. That's a full season.
All right, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I like that.
Are you familiar with the Kiss Army?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you can find a way to make the announcement while holding this.
Yeah, Schmidt's goal in season 4 is to become a full-fledged member of the Kiss Army. Party hard.
Are you guys gonna reshoot the intro?
Let that be the clip that you guys promote like this with.
That we can make that happen. These girls, they're fast.
Please.
What do you want to see in season 4?
Schmidt joining the Kiss Army.
Aside from that.
But that's, I think, to me though, I like it's exciting every week. You know, you feel like ultimately so grateful to have this job. It's so exciting every week to get a new script and to go to these to the table reads, because we haven't seen them before we get there, and be like, I can't believe this is what I get to do today, or next week. So it's always exciting. I don't want to know. Do you know what I mean? It would take away from.
No, yeah, I get it.
The excitement of it all.
Do you have like a favorite area or set that you like to be in, or do you like going when you guys are doing on location stuff?
Do we have a favorite set? Well, you know, I will say this: we shoot close to downtown on 6th and Alvarado every once in a while for our roof set. And there's a building over there that we'll shoot in every so often. We use it kind of as a location here and there, but it's very close to Langer's.
Oh, nice.
So what a treat that is for lunch.
Look at that. Okay, that's the next clip. That one?
No. Only I mean, I love Langer's. Nothing against Langer's, but I would just on repeat, because if you play the Kiss Army clip enough, maybe there'll be such a demand for that storyline that it'll at least become an episode.
We're gonna tweet it. We're gonna blog it. It's gonna happen.
Schmidt and Winston doing the Kiss
I'm gonna
Army.
like.
But I feel like it's.
Why can't Nick be in it? That's a bigger issue. Why are you leaving Nick out of this?
Because this is for me and Winston.
Okay.
This is not a Nick thing.
Okay.
I don't think Nick.
You spent enough time with him being roomies?
No, but I feel like I know Nick's character well enough to know that he doesn't like Kiss, and he has like a Jim Croce poster on his wall.
You do know him well.
Yeah, he doesn't want to rock and roll all night and party every day.
Well, and can we talk about the Kevin Reilly exit?
Whoa!
Let's take a turn here. No, but I mean, he was a real champion for the show, and
he was a real champion for me. I mean,
yeah.
It was devastating to see him go.
Yeah. Do you feel like you have to like butter up to whoever's the new boss? Like, hey, remember us? Or...
No, I feel like, you know, I feel like I need to be super grateful to someone like Kevin Reilly for giving me an opportunity, because I feel like it's not like that guy's going to go into the ether. I mean, he'll be running the internet, I'm sure, in like, I'm sure in about 3 to 4 months. And discovering some new sort of digital platform that he was like, oh, see, you guys at Fox never let me do this. And now I'm running television content on the internet.
What word will he come up with for that? I mean, he gave us eventizing. I don't know what he'll call that.
I don't know either. He's smarter than all of us.
He really is. Nice, nice. Well, when do you guys start back up?
We go back the 28th of July, I believe.
What are you going to do? Like, work in before you have to go back?
Oh, I can talk about this. I'm very excited.
Yes,
I'm doing a movie in July that I'm very, very, very excited about, that I've kind of been attached to for a year.
Right.
And it's very real now, and it's happening. Michael Showalter, I don't know if you're familiar with him. Michael has written and is directing this movie called Hello, My Name is Doris. Sally Field will be playing...
Beth, right? Beth Bears?
Yeah, Sally will be playing Doris, who is the lead. And Beth Bear is also in it. And it's such a wonderful script. I cannot wait to shoot it.
When do you start that?
The 7th.
Okay.
So I'm very, very excited about that one.
That's very cool. I mean, it's Sally Field.
Yes, I know. And Showalter I know from, I did a movie called They Came Together with him that he wrote, which, by the way, comes out June 27th.
Okay.
But we've known each other for a while, so it's nice to be working with him again, and I think he's just as talented as anybody gets. And to be doing this movie with him and Sally, it's like one of those things where you go, nah, this is probably never going to happen again.
Well, it's a cool deal.
Yeah,
you got to do it.
Yeah, this is one of those that may never come together ever again like this.
Well, and how about guest stars? I mean, we saw you do Hot in Cleveland and Mindy.
Yeah.
Is that something you like to do, like to keep yourself?
Yeah, it's fun. It's nice to just kind of do different shows and play different characters and work with different people. I think I get such a kick out of that. I love just kind of getting in there with different people and feeling out what their show is like and how they kind of do their thing as opposed to ours. Hot in Cleveland was a great, they're the best group ever. I think that is probably the best and truest sitcom multicam on television right now.
When we write about it, the amount, like the hits that it gets, it's crazy.
It's such a great show, and you know, Wendy and Jane and Valerie, you know, Betty White aside, obviously she's everything, but you know, are so talented and are so good at that format specifically that to go on and onto that show is a real, I mean, it's just such a genuine learning experience. You watch them just roll through it and you go, oh man, these women are incredible.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for dropping by today. It was a real pleasure talking to you. Should we clink our glasses?
But with your left hand.
Oh, but how do we do that?
You can do it.
Thanks so much.